Hi, welcome back to Legal Desk. In today's video, we will be discussing the case of KM Nanavati versus State of Maharashtra. If you are a law student, you probably already heard about this case. It's a really important case, and if not, you probably have watched a movie starring Akshay Kumar called Rustom. Yes, exactly, that's that case. So we'll be discussing about this case thoroughly. In this video, we'll be discussing the facts, the matter, the issues, effects, the order, and why is it so important. Okay, so let's just begin with the facts of the case. So basically, the accused Nanavati was a naval officer who was put on trial under section 302 IPC for the alleged murder of his wife's lover. This case is also considered to be one of the most important landmark judgments, not just because of the popularity it gained among the masses, but also because of the important legal point it raised, such as plea of general exception, burden of proof, onus of proof, grave and sudden provocation test, power of High Court in deciding competence of reference made by session judge. Chapter 4 of IPC deals with the general exceptions to criminal liability. There are various kinds of exceptions to criminal liability which was mentioned under section 76 to 106, which will not amount to offences under the code. These are such as mistake of fact, mentioned under section 76 and 79, judicial acts mentioned under section 77 and 78, accident mentioned under section 80, absence of criminal intention 81 and 86, and 92 and 94, acts done by consent 87 to 91, trifling act mentioned under section 95, and private defense mentioned under section 96 to 106. Okay, so let's proceed further. The KM Nanavati case is also wholly recognized as being responsible for the end of jury trials. This was the last case which involved jury and which has the contribution of jury in making a decision. So, the KM Nanavati was a naval officer of ship Mysore. He was married to Sylvia and had 3 children with her. Because of the nature of the Nanavati's work, they had resided at various different places before shifting to Bombay. It was in Bombay that they were first introduced to the deceased person Prem Ahuja through a common friend. Nanavati had to leave away from home regularly because of his job. In his absence, his friendship developed between Sylvia and Prem, which developed into illicit relationship. Then, when Nanavati returned home on April 1959, he could sense something's wrong and found out about his wife's relationship with Prem Ahuja and decided to settle score with him. Nanavati drove his wife and children to cinema hall and promised to pick them up later. He then drove to his ship, from where he obtained his revolver and 6 rounds on a false pretext. He drove to the Prem's office and did not found him there. Then from there he went to his house. Prem's servant confirmed his presence. He went to Prem's bedroom while carrying his revolver in a brown envelope. Nanavati closed the bedroom door and asked Prem's intention with his wife. When he didn't receive the honorable answer that he was expecting, he alleged to have shot Prem. Then he went to the police station to confess his crime. So now we will be discussing what are the major issues in this case. Okay, so as you can see on the board, the issue number 1 is whether the accused shot Prem in grave and sudden provocation, or whether it was a premeditated murder. Okay, the issue number 2 is whether the SLP can be entertained without fulfilling the order under Article 142. Okay, issue number 3 is whether the pardoning power of governor and SLP move together. Okay, issue number 4, whether the High Court lacked jurisdiction under section 307 CRPC to examine facts in order to determine the competency of session judges referral. Okay, and the last issue, whether there was any misdirection in charge, whether the High Court had the power to strike aside jury's decision on grounds of misdirection in charge under section 307 of CRPC. Okay, so this case first went for the jury trial at the session So, jury held Nanavati not guilty with the verdict of 8:1 under section 304 of IPC. But the session judge was not with satisfied with the answer and requested the matter to Division Bench of Bombay High Court under section 307 of CRPC. Then this matter went to the High Court. In High Court raised few points. Sylvia's confession or any specific incident in Ahuja's bedroom or both did not amount to grave or sudden provocation. Second, the onus of proving that it was an accident and preempted murder was on Nanavati. Third, the jury was not instructed that Nanavati's offense had to be proved to the extent that there is no reasonable doubt in the mind of a reasonable person, and the accused was held liable under section 302 of IPC. Appeal was made by the accused, that is Nanavati, to the Supreme Court against this order. Then the Supreme Court noted that as per defense case, the accused was thinking of future of his wife and children, and it implies that he had regained his senses. The time lapse between the confession and his murder was sufficient to regain his self-control. The mere fact that before shooting the accused, the accused abused the deceased cannot come under the grave and sudden provocation for murder. The Supreme Court in second issue dismissed the SLP, stating that he cannot until and unless he surrenders under Article 142. The Supreme Court also held that the application made to the governor for pardon and the SLP cannot proceed parallelly. If SLP is filed, then the power of governor in such cases shall be seized. The Supreme Court finally held that the facts of the case don't attract the provision of exception 1 of section 300 IPC. An accused is guilty under section 302 IPC. The sentence of life imprisonment on accused passed by the High Court is correct and held that there are no grounds for interference, and appeal was dismissed. So what were the effect of this case? Why is it called a landmark judgment? I'm sure you have understood. Just to brief it up a little bit, I'm going to explain you some of the effects and some of the aftermath that this case had. Okay, this judgment created a nationwide attention owing to the fact that the crime adultery had resulted into murder not amounting to culpable homicide, and the involvement of a high ranking naval officer, media coverage, etc. The burden of proof upon the prosecution released by establishing the fact to utmost clarity, also referring the case to higher judiciary and jury being erroneous on point of law, was something that pointed out amount of corruption in judiciary, which resulted in abolition of jury system in CRPC amendment in 1973. So I hope you understand this case really well, and I tried to go through all the main points and major decisions and major facts and points of law and issues matter, whatever I could cover. I really hope this video was helpful to you and made you understand this case really better through a legal perspective. If you like this video, please subscribe to this channel, like this video, and share this video and about this channel with your friends and whoever you can. So thank you, and see you with the next video.